Alright, welcome back to the channel, guys. So let's finish off the console step. Let me show you guys also, I forgot in the last video to show where the buttons are that I was talking about. So if you go to like your secondary castle here, see there's defensive base, that's grayed out, and it says it right there. You need the system reform 2 policy. Resupply base, you need the system reform 2 policy level 3. Transfer, you need system reform. So if you even want to switch your officers around, your lords, you need the system reform policy level 2. And to summon, same thing. So again, there's a lot of there's quite a few buttons that you can't even use until you get the system reform policy. That's why I say it's the one that you really got to start with. Okay, so anyway, let's get back to the console. And now we're dealing with the honor, the second most important thing, which is the, what's this tab called? Honor commendation. So the first step is the accolades, where you can bestow. Now on this screen here, it shows you everybody on your team, everybody in your group here who has access to a special, let's call them titles. Basically, that's basically what they are, right? So you can give everybody titles whenever they achieve something, right? Anything of note, it says. And whoever is eligible for a title, they'll be highlighted already. So it's pretty straightforward. You just click here, you make a choice. Now what you give them for the most part is not going to be crucial initially, right? If you have officers who you plan to use for a while, okay, you have your favorite officers, the guys who, for whatever reason, you just like them and you're like, I'm going to really use this officer a lot. Then you might want to consider developing them along a certain path. Okay, but I'm going to do another video covering how to develop officers, just for that stuff, because that's a whole nother thing, right? Just know for now that you can give anybody a title, the starter title, which is 1 star, and usually you'll get this pretty easily. They don't have to do much. You know, make a couple buildings, you can get a civil, initiate a couple of covert operations, you can get the wise alias, a couple of battles, occupy. I mean, it's very, very easy. The 2 quick ones are civil and covert. You don't need to pay too much attention to this. Like I said, it's just a little passive increase at level 1. It's a little star that you put on the fridge, right? At work, they give you a little star. They say, hey, we were going to give you a pay raise, but we're going to give you a little, or we're gonna put you at the front of the store, at the front of the warehouse this month, and there you go. The main thing that I use it for is for these guys who have low loyalty, just to put it up a bit if I don't want to lose them. Most of the time, the guys who have shitty loyalty are usually not that great. Like, he's not that great. He's actually pretty good. He's very good, actually, so I'd want to give him something.
I couldn't dream of a happiness greater than this.
Okay. Now the main thing is this right here, the class classification. The ranking system in the game is really important because you need officers to move up consistently all of the time, especially when you have a small force. The reason being, officers who have higher ranks can become lords. They can march with more troops. I don't think they get a flat passive bonus, but the main thing is that they can hold land, all of that stuff. Officers who have the chief level, who just started, can't even hold land yet. Okay, so the ranking system, which you can't look at here for some reason. Well, actually, let me try detailed. Okay, you can look at your list here. Okay, so the ranking system there, you can see the feathered fans. It's 1 to 5, with the lowest being the chief, where you only need 300. Okay, now this is honor. Honor is what tracks this. I guess technically there is an XP bar, but it's hidden in this game. This is the only bar that you kind of get to see, which is the honor bar, right? So 0 to 300 is the first rank. That's chief. And at chief, I don't think you can do anything except be an attendant, really. You can be an attendant, and I think you can search. You can do some basic civil orders with this officer, but it's going to cost labor. So you at least want to get them up to infantry leader so that you can appoint them as landowners and stuff like that, so that every time that you interact with them, you don't have to spend a labor. Because right here as a chief, he basically has to be in your main daimyo's territory. Okay, he has to be a chieftain, has to be out here, and you can only really assign him to territories here to work on your counties. Okay, you can't assign him. Let me make sure that I'm right here. So let's see. He's not even coming up. There he is, down here. Okay, so Masatora down here says becomes governor with station above infantry leader. Okay, so I can't even appoint him because his station has got to be higher. So you can't even. So these guys are very, very limited in what they can do. The guys at the very bottom are really limited. So that's why you need to get their honor up right away if you plan on using them. You might have a couple spots. You might have a couple guys who are chiefs that you can keep there. You know, you can say, okay, these guys are just going to stay on my main daimyo's territory, and they're going to work those territories. And once in a while, I'll search with them. You can do that if you want, but it's going to be a detriment over time, because now you're locking them in. They're less flexible. They have to always be on your territory, and every time you want to use them for something, you're going to have to spend labor. Like I said, very detrimental. You want to get them up to infantry leader at least, so you can shuffle them off. You can move them around your whole domain to work on different lands, and give them land so that they can pay for the developments out of pocket. You don't have to worry about it. You don't need so much oversight, right? So that's the first thing you need to do. Don't have anybody in chief, man. Move them up to infantry as soon as possible. Work on that aggressively. Now, you only need 300 honor, which, like I showed you guys in the last video, bodyguard formation increases the honor that the chief acquires every month. So it just gives them a flat bonus. And if they're assigned as a substitute, which, what else are they going to do? Okay, what else are they going to do? I just explained they have to be on your land anyway to do anything. You can't give them land. They have to work on your territory. That's why this is called bodyguard formation. It's like they can only be on your land, and they just started out. There's nothing else for them to do. Have them assigned as bodyguards around the fief, around your main fief. Although I don't know about having new guys, you know, in my capital territory, just wandering around, you know, giving them important job posts, you know, guard posts and stuff like that. I don't know about all that. Seems a little sketchy to me, but whatever, right? 30% increase. This helps you get these guys as they come in, as you absorb territories, as these Ronin start enlisting and they start off at chief. These new guys come of age. It gets them experience right away. This is like the, this is the internship. That's what this should be. They should call this the internship formation, right? New guys come in, get them some experience, blah, 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 so that then you can actually make use of them later on, hopefully. Okay, so that's the first one. Chief to infantry leader, it's a huge jump. Now you have samurai leader. Samurai leader, which to move up to, from that, you need 4,000. So, and again, you can track this with your officers. Go to any officer that you want. Samurai leader, here you go. So, oh, sorry. It's infantry leader needs 1,500. Okay, yeah, that does seem too high. So for an infantry leader to get to the next rank, you need 4,000. And then it goes on and on. As you go up, it goes higher and higher and higher. Now the next stop, that's kind of important, right? And you can look at this with L2. The next stop that's really important is the captain position, or the samurai leader. So captain and samurai leader, like it says, allows you to be appointed as a lord. This is where you want your main guys to be at. Okay, I have Nagamasa. Since he's the heir to the clan, he started at samurai leader. If Nagamasa didn't start at samurai leader, that's what I'd be working him towards. because then I could appoint him as a castle leader. So right now I could put him in charge of his own castle. And your castle stats, what makes your castle so strong is a reflection of your guy's stats, of the lord of the castle, right? So you need to have good lords in position so that you can have useful, strong officers to be in charge of these castles. So right now Nagamasa is excellent candidate for that. I have Kazumasa. He's also in charge of a castle because, again, his traits and everything support it. So you want to target officers that in the future you're like, these guys I want to be in charge. I want these guys to be lords, overlooking castles, helping castles develop, blah blah blah. So that's samurai leader and captain. Those are those two. Now the next two are the senior retainer and the senior officer, which the requirements for that is pretty high. I only have 2 people, and I think they started in that position already. So let's see. Senior retainer. So to get the senior retainer, you need 8,000. Okay. Remember when you're looking at the XP bar, that's how much it is to get to the next tier, not the tier that you're at. Also, another thing, this bar does not reset. It does not reset. So you're accumulating all this XP over the lifetime. So Yahei here, who has 6,211 XP, that's XP I keep saying, honor, that honor is throughout his whole career. It didn't reset when he became a captain and now he's working up towards senior retainer. No. It's throughout the whole career. So it doesn't take as long as you would think. Until you get to rank 4, then it essentially doubles. So you can tell right there. Okay, so senior retainer and senior officer, what can these guys do? What's the point of them, right? They can be appointed as consul officials. Okay, this is probably the third thing in the council tab that's the most useful. Okay, so consul officials, you have 2 ranks here. You have the conservator, which you can only have 1 in the center. The emigres are vassals. These are vassal lords. So these slots are reserved for whenever you subjugate a clan and make them a vassal, you can have these down here. These 2 on the sides, I mean. Down here, you have the overseers. You can have up to 5 of these, but you need system reform 2, which I think I have in my file, but these are, this is an earlier file. You can have up to 5 of these. Bottom here, you start off with 1 right away. So if you have an officer who's a senior officer, you can put him here right away. Okay, so what's the difference between these 2 outside of the requirements? Overseer is a straight passive benefit. Okay, it can be very different based on the officer. Okay, you could go through the list here and it'll tell you. If you watch the policies videos, which if you didn't see the policies video, watch the policies video. You need to see it. It's very important. Policies are more important than this. This stuff is the second half of it. If you have an officer that has the Oda, the way of the Oda, for example, this is where I'd put him if I want to unlock the way of the Oda policy, the unique policy. This is where I'd put him. So right now I have my officer who has the way of the Asai, which allows my unique policy to be in effect or decreases its upkeep, which I had to put at this point in the game. I put it on just because it was cheaper. It made the monthly cost. It saved me a little bit of commerce, not that much. At this point in the game, I would change it, right? I'd put something else here. Probably I'd put Code of the Strategist because 8 formations is a very expensive formation, so getting a discount on this would be a little bit better, I think. But you could see here, different passives. Just gives you a little passive. That's what these 5 do. 1 by itself is not a big deal, but once you get System Reform 2, you can have 5 extra passive abilities. Again though, these guys have to be ranked 4 or 5. So this is a goal to work towards. Okay, you can see like I keep saying, you can see where the flow chart, it's not rigid flow chart, it's flexible. But you can see where your chart kind of goes in terms of developing officers. You want to pay attention, you want to target guys who are good on the battlefield, civil guys, And you want to target guys who have good overseer abilities and conservator, but primarily overseer, because you can put 5 people here. And so you can stack 5 benefits here. This is, I can't stress how important it is to get these effects. I mean, if you could put a couple of these together, right? If you could decrease the effects of your standing army upkeep, if you could make it cheaper to have a standing army, if you could decrease how long maintenance is for your irrigation, right? So you could maybe double down on irrigation. Have more irrigation than you can afford because it's so much cheaper. This really lets you lay out how you build stuff up. And like I said, a lot of officers have a lot of unique things that they unlock. It's not just 5 different things and you're done. No, it's very different. Now, Conservator is a more powerful version, usually, of Overseer. It's a much stronger effect, but there is a catch. It always has a negative effect, usually in the form of an expense or something. So let me show you guys. So right now I only have one other person. The other guy who's rank 4 or 5, I think he's rank 4. He has long gain, and it says it right here. The advantage and disadvantage. So the advantage is it increases the success rate of all your covert actions. So covert actions being all of these: rumor, lower officers, extract, get officers to switch sides, incite, destroy, raise. These are all really powerful things. I mean, when they work, you can lock down a force just by having riots start up and harassing their bases all the time. So what his role does, if I appoint him here to Conservator, it increases it by 10%. 10% more likely to work. That's really powerful, really strong. You could build your force around this. That's usually how strong some of these effects can be. But there's always a disadvantage. So why haven't I appointed him? Because it's a 25% gold decrease. You can see it right there in red. 25%. That's huge. So that's why I haven't used his. But every officer has a Conservator trait once they get up to the maximum. Usually the officers who are more unique in the game are going to have stuff that's a little bit flashier. The guys who are a little bit more generic are going to have things that are kind of standard. But even then, the effect is going to vary. Okay, so if you go down here, these 3 guys all have trained garrison, but the effect is different. 20% here, with the disadvantage being 60%. Okay, so more bang for your buck. But again, you're rolling the dice. The bigger gamble here, the bigger disadvantage. This is only 5% for 15%. These 3 guys. The top guy's got a much stronger version with a much stronger penalty. So they're double-edged swords, So yeah, that's how you can appoint them. That's the point of it. Is it's a more powerful overseer effect. It's really strong, but it has a drawback. So you have to play around that drawback. If you can play around it and negate it, then you're just getting a really powerful effect for nothing. Now, like I said, with the Emigre, you need vassals for that. So when you get stronger, it might be worth it to make someone your vassal just for this purpose, because there's no other way to get these 2 slots unlocked. So you could put a force together, again, through some, you have to go through it and kind of pick through it with a fine comb, right? But you can go through there and look through the daimios and say, okay, who do they have on their force? I'm stronger than them. Who could I get to be an Emigre and get their Conservator effect? And can I get 3 people up here that synergize with each other and synergize with my whole force? Can I put a plan together that really maximizes covert success rate and covert effects? Yes, you can. You have to work for it a little bit, but you can. You can create a force that's just, you're running this crazy spy network. You're just pulling the strings from the shadows. You're Illuminati. Everything's going wrong all over the place, and you're just sitting back from the shadows, watching everything fall apart around you, going according to plan. You can do that if you want, or that's what I love about this game. Or you don't do that at all. You just put whatever seems good. You know, you just say, okay, I think I can, you know, unit abilities increased by 5%, yeah, and we take counties a little bit slower. That's pretty tame. That's, you know, that's all right. That's good. We'll go with that. Let's take that. Actually, that's not 5%. That's 5. That's insane. Is that Nagamasa? Yeah, that's Nagamasa. Nagamasa's ability is insane, guys. Absolutely insane. So Nagamasa would be a retainer that I'd work towards getting him there. You know, he's only 7. I think he's only 17 right now. He just started, but that's something that I'd work towards. Okay, like +5 to all unit abilities. All of my units have 5 extra in their stat columns. If you guys watched the Prestige video, if you didn't see the Power of Prestige video that I had made earlier, this is like a mini version of that. So more blanket, another layer of just blanket stat buffs for everybody. And the only drawback, if you could call it that, is that you seize things a little bit slower. It's not really a drawback, because if you're going to win your battles because of this, then it doesn't matter. See? So you could just grab stuff that just seems good, straightforward, like I said, or you could try to build something that's kind of crazy. And I think there are going to be some crazy combinations out there that people are going to be able to come up with just through this system. Okay? Now the last thing I want to say, because we're getting kind of I'm already pushing it here. The last thing I want to say is how to acquire honor is fairly easy, even outside of the bodyguard system. If you just hit L2 here, you'll come up with a list, and it'll show you the very first page. Thankfully, it's all right there. The other pages has the rest of the stuff. Well, actually, there's only one other page. This one's a little bit convoluted, but the very first page, gaining honor, is right there. The best way to get honor, for me personally, is just been to send them out to fight. Okay, pick your guys that you want to move up, that you want to advance their careers. Send them into fights, and make sure, remember, to have them occupy when you do the battles personally. Go out there, get you some easy wins, okay? And when you get yourself those easy wins, make sure that remember, whoever's occupying these spots, they're getting the honor. So Nagamasa, what I do is I make sure that Nagamasa is either fighting a battle where he's going to destroy a unit to get honor, or he's going to occupy spots to get honor. If I drive the enemy back towards their camp, like I had shown earlier, what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose the guy that I want to get honor. He's going to go and he's going to snatch up all the spots on the map so that he can get maximum honor, because I'm trying to move his rank up over time and advance his career so that he can be a lord, so that I can get his overseer or his conservator trait, etc. So gaining honor is not that hard. You'll be able to get it just by doing basic things. If you guys just look at the list there, it's all as a substitute, giving an order, executing something. It can be anything, a covert operation, recruiting somebody, anything. But the one that you have the most control over consistently is battle. So that's the one I would focus on. Even if your guy is like my liege, Hisamasa, who's not made for battle, it doesn't matter. Bring him along, let him sit in the back, watch the fight, let him move up behind somebody who's doing all the work. You know, put him behind your, let him be the running back behind a good offensive line. Let your guys in the front do all the work, and let him just walk behind and occupy everything. You know, and that way he can reap the benefits. Move him up. Okay, that's the fastest way to do it. So these other commands are all pretty much self-explanatory. Trading, buy supplies, buy items. I will say that for trading, you can only sell once each season. So if you're in a jam and you need to sell supplies because you need gold, remember, you can only do it once per season. Once you do it, right, you say, oh, I'm going to sell this or I'm going to sell that. Oh, maybe. Oh, okay, sorry. Once you go through the supplies, right? Okay, no, you don't want to scratch that part. Maybe I'm wrong. I could have sworn it said once per season. Oh, there is a limit to the amount of supplies you can sell, which resets every season. Okay. So they reset every season. Because I know I hit it one time. I got into a jam and I just started selling supplies like a madman. And I tried to empty out my stores and they didn't want them. So that's the only thing. There is a limit to how much you can sell. I don't see it on here, so I guess you don't know. You'll know it when you hit it. Everything else here is pretty self-explanatory. I wouldn't even mess with province. It just automates. It automates everything for a castle. I wouldn't do that until you have like half the map or something, and you just don't want to deal with things. If you've played any of the other games, you know what that's like. So yeah, that's gonna be it for the video. If you guys haven't subscribed already, make sure you subscribe, hit the like button, and leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you guys think of the system, the honor system and the console official system. If anybody has any crazy combinations, let me know in the comments down below. I haven't messed with this too much yet, but I see potential from some insane builds for your forces just based on this, being able to stack some of these crazy abilities. So yeah, I'll see you guys on the next one. Till then, take it easy.